Digital Renegade podcast. I'm your host, a dashing rogue, and it's my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
Well, I wasn't. Same. And you've said about 100 times that it's never gonna happen, so what are you talking about?
I'm an asshole! Why would you trust anything I say?
Who says that about themselves?
Yeah. What's that from, Luke?
It's from an anime called Girlfriend Girlfriend.
Oh God, the LGBT XYZ and the silent Q has really infected all of the world.
No, it's a guy that has two girlfriends.
Oh.
And I can't imagine it, like somehow they managed to make the logistics of a man having two girlfriends be so boring. Like, oh my gosh, it's such a drag.
Well, what? Three is company too, don't you know?
But more girls want to be involved.
So it's not just the Ryoko and Ayaka thing. It's now like a.
It's not even that where Tenchi is oblivious to their advances. He pursues one girl, and then another girl confesses to him and realizes, I can't turn her down, so I'm going to date them both. And the first girl's trying to almost nearly kill him, and the other girl will say, no, let's all get along. And then he invites them over to stay at his place, live it with him.
Oh, that's cute. I guess that's like economical. I guess I don't know. Honestly, I mean, isn't it like that's literally the plot of Three's Company. They're all sharing the same bunk.
Of course, the first girl, her mom, she actually lives next door, and so it wasn't much of a move for her.
Well, and she's out of her parents' house. I guess that's a good thing, right? Shit. All right, so for those of you who don't know, I actually got my job. I got a new job, so I start tomorrow, and I start at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. for orientation. I'm not going to say what I do, but let's just say it's going to be a new change for me. Those of you who know what I do, I'm not going to say what I do because why wouldn't I, because, again, there's just too many fucking variables in play right now. So I'm going to start tomorrow, and it's going to be a 10-hour shift, and I'm going to work the night shift, which is going to be awesome because then I get more pay, even though the pay isn't good, but we get profit shares, so. And a little bit of a hint, I'm actually beating all the leftists to the punch because guess what? I'm working in a factory. So now I actually do get to say I'm the working class because I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you could have them come up and say, no, you're not the real working class.
Oh, no, because I'm not making the right stuff. It's even though we have profit shares and everything under the sun, right? So I actually had a few things to talk about today. And the big one was the crown fucking jewel that I can't believe this was put on. I can't believe. No, Glenn, honey, Glenn, you are not Ashley J. Williams. Look at that. What is that?
What is? I mean, after hinting Dugan, he's finally opening up the chaos symbols and the symbolism.
By the way, don't buy into symbolism. Like I know that shit's from Michael Moorcock. I know that. Yeah, Michael Moore penis. That guy, right? No, like legitimately, if you look at some of his stuff that's outside of Elric of Meldomene, you'll realize that some of his shit is like, I almost want to say it's like passive aggressive almost. Like he, I'm not gonna accuse Michael Moorcock of being an intel asset, but I desperately think that he's like a bard where he can like dog whistle to people. Because there's some shit he's fucking written. Let's see if I can find it here.
Although technically, doesn't his chaos sigil have like a circle in the middle and it spreads outward?
Well, let's just play the clip because Michael Moore. Here we go. Where the hell is it? Byzantium endures. This is the type of shit that we're dealing with Michael Moorcock here, right here.
Ooh, what is it now?
Oh, this again. Everyone knows him from Elric of Meldomene, but nobody knows him from like his other shit that he does. Here we go. There it is.
The Moorcock sigil.
The more dick symbol. More PP. More penis. Michael Moore penis.
No. He's Dugan is trying to meme it into reality.
Dugan is doing what all these occultists do. Is they like to latch on to other people's work and then act like they're bigger than they actually are. I mean, look, why do you think the Satanists keep trying to get into fucking Tucker Carlson and trying to keep riding his ass? Yeah, the Byzantium truly does endure, especially now that we have fucking crazy fuckers like, crazy fuckers like Dugong, the walrus man himself, the Neo-Eurasian walrus. So we're going to play this because I got to get going soon. Not even soon, but like I have to be out of here by 9 o'clock. Here you go, Luke. We're going to talk about worldwide jihad. This was again. This shit, I cannot make this up. Okay, this is the public record.
Am I the only one who's kind of having like weird, surreal feelings about all the documentaries and movie videos I saw after 9/11? Because it's almost like we didn't learn anything from it.
Well, all this has happened before, but not all of it has to happen again, Luke. We just have to find Earth before the Cylons do.
Yeah, well, history repeats, but it never repeats, but it always rhymes.
Yeah, so say we all. No,
so
but
from the beginning, or where do we start?
We're gonna start. I want to say let's start
29, 28?
14 minutes in.
14 minutes. What happens in 14
Oh yeah, it's gonna be 14 minutes in.
.com. You, I think, are going to ask yourself why you've never heard any of this. Why our government spends so much time worried about evil Christians here in the United States and then does nothing about what I'm about to show you. As I mentioned earlier, there's nothing new about the emergence of wars. Not even new for war to break out simultaneously in multiple parts of the world. But when war is justified by Scripture, when the Bible and or the Quran are invoked by major aggressive countries, that should be a little worrying. What's
Not
even
really.
more worrying is when...
Well, I mean, when the Quran does it, then you really have to be worried because of how the Quran exists, how supposedly exists in tradition.
Well, just because these fuckers, again, I'm going to continuously play it over and over again until people fucking get it. Here you go, Luke. Until the world ends, like Nick Fury says. And by the way, Nick Fury took on Thor, okay? We've already taken on the Priest of Hell before. So we're up there in the fucking echelons of actual kick-assery.
Is that really a priority right now?
Until such time as the world ends, we will act as though it intends to spin on.
Yep.
The problem is it doesn't matter if the world is in fact spinning on. They believe it won't if they pull it through.
Yeah, exactly. So all the talk about, evangelical Christians, they think that Israel has to exist. No, the state of Israel, again, I hate to use this as another example from the Marvel superhero universe, but Asgard is not a place, it is a people. Israel is not a place, it is a people. It quite literally is.
Yes.
Luke. Yes.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all the people. That will be buried in the sands of the sea or the stars of the sky.
Exactly. So, if the state of Israel gets wiped out because Hassan Piker is just that good looking, then it's not the end of the world, but it sure as shit will feel like it. But the world will march on. Time will march on regardless. Because it's the nature of time. That's just the way it is. And you're going to realize we're fighting gods of chaos shit. And even Glen Beck is kind of becoming the fucking Ashley J. Williams of this shit. I really do feel like him and Bruce Campbell need to team up and fight the armies of darkness. I feel that's going to happen.
Is he like neutral good, or what is neutral order? Like
Glen Beck?
Like what would his alignment be at?
Neutral good. Good, like true good, if that makes any sense. But keep playing it because I want people to understand.
Major leaders of the world refuse to acknowledge that part, and that is exactly what's happening now. It's not accurate to call Russia and Iran an axis of evil, but they are match made in hell, and they are using words like apocalypse, antichrist, and Messiah as they charge into the battle, both Christian and Muslim. If you've been watching this show for the past decade, you know who Alexander Dugin is. I've been warning about him for years. He is
he's doing the Glen Beck look, not the Glen Beck. He's doing the Bill Clinton look. When Bill Clinton was called out and like in Congress by Trump, and he was just staring at people. Remember that fucking look? It's the same fucking look. It's the same look. I'll see if I can find it. Keep playing it.
Philosopher. His ideology is absolutely bat-crap bonkers. When I first warned about him, I showed how he was organizing opposition movements in countries all over the world. His plan is to spread chaos that would set the world on fire, while his home country of Russia ascended. In fact, his symbol, it's pretty creepy. It's an old occult representation of chaos.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a fucking symbol from the counterculture from the 1960s. A pasty little fucking gothic dark elf, the Drakari witch motherfucker. Yeah, that's the guy who originally created it. Fucking Michael Moordick. Show the picture of it, Luke.
The which who?
Michael Moorcock.
Michael.
The Byzantium Endures. Yeah, that one. There he is. That's the guy who invented the symbol. And by the way, because he's a fucking loser, he can't stop writing the same character over and over again. He tries to make it multiversal and shit like that. But it's not an occult symbol. It is used in the occult, but so is the Necronomicon, okay? And I don't need to tell you that we're going to be fighting, the Deadites or some shit like that. The Necronomicon isn't real. It's like Stolas. I mean, Stolas is a historical character from fucking, fiction, but just because Hell of a Boss starts talking shit about him and making him like into some like weird bisexual freak doesn't mean you should start worshiping it or hanging out or becoming an H-1B visa for him.
I mean, this has been a problem ever since Sephiroth showed up in Final Fantasy VII.
It's been a problem since then. We let the Japanese into our culture with their crazy existential bullshit and dread that they have.
A small price to pay after nuking them.
Well, let's just say we open the portal to hell when we nuke their ass. Keep playing it.
Anyway.
Don't think Western experts took that part seriously. They don't. Recently, however, they have started taking seriously his geopolitical views. This is a State Department document. It was released 3 years ago, highlighting Dugin's plan for Russia. It states that Russia will, quote, divide Georgia, annex Ukraine, Finland, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, and gives away Azerbaijan to Iran. Why haven't I heard that before? When you hear neocons, and now most of the Democratic Party say, we've got to stop Russia now before they invade another country, this is what they're referring to. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I'm definitely not saying we need to get involved in this proxy war, but this is obviously what our government is referring to. But I'm curious.
What the fuck is that, Luke?
Why aren't
Stolas as he originally was depicted?
Oh, so like the actual artwork, that's like, yeah, that's him doing his thumbs up or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I have a feeling in the next 7 months or so, 3 to 7 months, I will encounter, what the fuck is his name? That Sticky Man, Six Hexenhand. I'll have to ask him. Like, is your girl like down with you hanging out with the bird? I mean, the bird has like an appetite that would put Ron Jeremy on fucking on check, you know?
At least this incarnation of him.
Well, the incarnation of it. That's like saying the night at the museum Teddy Roosevelt fucking character was an incarnation of Teddy Roosevelt. I don't know. Let's keep going.
they giving us the why? Why won't they talk about this? On the very next page of this document, the state...
I'll tell you exactly why they won't talk about it. The reason they won't talk about it is the same reason why Russia is using this perennial doctrine, the perennial philosophy, if you will. Because back in the 1960s and 70s, the United States would weaponize the perennial philosophy and perennial wisdom and whatnot, the tradition, if you will, the tradition with the capital T, okay? That's what... Go look up traditionalism, go look up perennialism. That's what you're dealing with. Because of that, because we have that in our consciousness now, in our psyche, it can now be hijacked and co-opted. Similar to how Russia is saying, oh, we're Christian now, and you're all satanic and evil. Bitch, you literally have a fucking, the head of your church lying on the record about owning a fucking $10,000, I think $100,000 watch. And they edited that shit out. These people are liars. Don't buy the lie. The Orthodox Church of Russia has been hijacked. It has been corrupted. The chaos cultists have infiltrated. I want that to be understood. Keep playing it.
Or to put it more obviously, they're more aligned with the state than they are to God.
It is. I think the best way I've heard it be said is that it's not Jesus serving. It's not Caesar serving Jesus. It's Jesus serving Caesar.
Oof.
In the other way. And even then, they talk about how it's the third Rome.
That's not ominous.
That's not ominous. I mean, it's not like.
Including two photos of Dugin and his followers fighting. You see the symbol on the man's shirt. In this entire 77-page report, that part is never explained. Why?
Because it's fucking symbolism. Beck, it's symbolism. Don't buy the glamour. Just shoot the bastard. If you really are, when in doubt, shoot it out. Okay, I'm not advocating violence here, but like I'm really sick and tired of people, glamorizing our enemies. When really you have the most powerful occult weapon in your hands right there. It was created by ancient Chinese mystics trying to find the elixir of immortality. What they got was gunpowder. I suggest we use it.
Well, to be fair, when people know how crazy that symbol is, it makes sense why we should resist them.
Oh, it really is. It's like, let's see if I can find another picture for it here. Give me 1 second. Keep playing it, by the way.
Outside of our own country, where, white Christians are not involved, they refuse to link geopolitics to any kind of bad dogma. And it is the same for Iran. And I find that interesting, that Russia has chosen Iran as an ally in all of this. In fact, that State Department report was quoting from one of Dugin's books. In that book, Dugin speaks of a new Moscow-Tehran axis.
And
now,
also it talks about, by the way, Beck, cite your citation fucking needed. I will tell you guys right now, the book that he's quoting is called The Foundation of Geopolitics. There's a specific reason as to why it's not being published in the West. It's because, from what I understand, what they say in Arabic is not the same that they say in Russian. And it's not the same that you'll get in the English version. I have the Russian version of the book. Okay? The actual Russian, the one that's designed specifically for the Russian-speaking audience, that is the original one. The one that you get from, let's say, in Arabic, it'll talk about Zionism, it'll talk about evil satanic Jews and shit like that. It's all nonsense. But if you look at the one that's written in, let's say, Hebrew, or, you know, it's Hebrew, right? They actually speak Hebrew in, in Israel, right? It's Jewish.
The Old Testament Hebrew.
Oh, I mean, like the term that the language they speak in Israel.
Right.
Yeah. It will say the same shit, except it'll say America's evil. That's the constant, but the variable is who are the bad guys that America's sponsoring. So what they say in one version of that book is something completely different than what they say in the other version. Hence why it's very pertinent that we don't publish that shit in America. I actually am for censorship of Dugin's book in America, except in the original Russian. Why? Because, again, just like how it would be like the equivalent of us using, let's say, or publishing the Chinese communist version of the Bible, or the North Korean version of the Bible, where they actually swap out Jesus and we make, you know, Xi Jinping or Mao Zedong or whoever God, okay, or the Messiah. It is the same thing. Is we're not going to publish propaganda that will help our enemies. I do believe we should purchase it. We should have the original access to the original book, but you know, what are you going to do? Not everyone understands Russian. Not everyone understands these terms. Keep playing.
Two strange bedfellows suddenly wake up and decide to be close friends. Is it oil? Is it... Clearly, it's not their religion.
Yeah, it is.
Their geopolitics. Is it similar ideology?
Yes.
The experts will never acknowledge that. But we now know that Ukrainian spies found Dugin's ideology so dangerous they tried to assassinate him inside of Russia. They missed and killed his...
No. What happened with that is he sacrificed his daughter. Like, I am of the opinion with Dylan Burns, Mr. Burns himself, Worf, right? Mm-hmm. Jeremy Cornelius, if we're gonna call him anything, it's because he is a Cornelius. That motherfucker is correct. I think he killed his daughter. I really do think he sacrificed his daughter because, you know, I'm subscribed to Daria Dugina on fucking Telegram, okay? And despite the fact that bitch got blown to smithereens, she's still posting for some fucking reason. That bitch is worth more alive than she ever was, or worth more dead than she ever was alive. Because now she's a symbol. We can literally parade her corpse all over the fucking Russian media and say, look, those evil Ukrainians murdered her. No, Dugin fucking fed her to the wolves. And he fed her to the wolves for the fact that she's from his first marriage. Mm-hmm. His first marriage was to a woman who was of the LGBT WXYZ and a silent Q. Dugin is not a conservative. He is a fucking leftist. Remember that. Keep going.
His daughter instead. We also now know, as per the Washington Post, that the CIA funded, equipped, and trained these guys. But the government won't speak of it. The media turns a blind eye. But Dugin is not a military officer. He is not devising strategy and ordering troops on the battlefield. It is his ideology and dogma that they are trying to assassinate. I'll get to Iran in just a few minutes, but this ideology out of Russia is what links them so closely, even intimately, with Russia. So what is the ideology? It is biblical.
Perennialism. Traditionalism. The capital T tradition. That's what it is. So yeah, fucking what is it? That darn cat girl. What was her name? Philosophat. Those people, Golden One. Those are the people he's trying to get in cahoots with. That's the people they're trying to basically, you know, link hands. It literally is globalism, the religion. Instead of the old world, the new world order being a bunch of banksters running everything, it's the old world order of the religious god kings and whatnot, and the holy men controlling everything, and they just so happen to be the holy men. That's what that is.
I was wondering, does traditionalism very similar to Prisca Theologia?
What's Prisca Theologia?
Basically, like all the religions and all philosophies are like the surfaces of a large diamond, and they're all but the same parts of the same religion.
Yes, that's what it is. And if you want to know what the tradition is, I think it was Jack Murphy who had what's his name? The guy, I can't remember the guy's name. He did a wonderful book. By the way, those who are listening to this, there's a book called, I believe, War for Eternity. Steve Bannon's, read that book. That book is that is key reading right there. And if you understand what tradition is, it's basically the idea that all religions of the Orthodox kind, the original Orthodox variety, have a thread. If you follow that thread back to the original religion, you will find that, you know, Christianity is like Hinduism, and Hinduism, it has more in common with Buddhism, and Buddhism has more in common with, you know, Odinism and all this other like insane shit.
Well, that's where I would have to disagree, because I would say that all the non-Christian religions are that. Everything that's not explicitly Christian or Judaism or Christianity is the Prisca Theologia to some degree or another. Because
and, you know,
they all start with the premise that you are part of or one with the divine.
Yep, you are part of the how shall we say it? You are part of a great story. It literally is Battlestar Galactica. It's literally the plot of Battlestar Galactica. Okay, all the religions are the same except, you know, Gaius Baltar's fucking religion, which just so happens to be Christianity. It kind of is. And you know, I hate to be the guy who says this, but Christ got us out of it. Christ broke the cycle. He broke the cycle of apostasy, and we're free. But, and here's the kicker, because of all the shit that you did in the 1960s and 70s, basically, you know, preaching gurus and shit like that, like the kind of crap that Alan Moore's into.
Marx.
Marx, the type of shit that James Lindsay rails against, that shit is still in our consciousness. And because it's in our consciousness, it can be hijacked. You know, one of the greatest magical books that Crowley ever used against people was the Holy Bible. There's a reason, because it's in the majority of the hearts and minds of the people in the West. And now, because the people have gone to secularism, they're going to miss it. They're going to miss all the arrows will hit right on the mark. But if you follow the Lord, you'll see the arrows, but they won't touch you. It's like it's like Neo.
The Gnostic trap is always this. Yeah, you know the Bible, you know what you're talking about, but did you know that there's more, and there's so much more that the people in charge don't want you to know about, because otherwise you won't go to church anymore.
Yeah, you know, let me see if I can pull it up here. Keep playing it.
As in seriously biblical, revelation kind of stuff. Dugin and his allies like to talk about something called Katachon. A Russian think tank with the same name was established around the time Russia annexed Crimea and invaded eastern Ukraine in 2014. Many of the contributors, including Dugin himself, are now sanctioned by the United States government. So what is Katachon? Well, it comes from the Bible in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and it's talking about the man of lawlessness, also known as the Antichrist, verse 6 and 7. And this is what they say, and I quote, "And now you know what is holding him back, so that he may be revealed at the proper time. For the secret power of lawlessness is already at work. But the one who now holds it back will continue to do so till he is taken out of the way." So this is talking about someone's destiny to hold back the Antichrist during the end times. The original Greek, the one who holds it back, is called Katachon.
And the original Arabic is Muhadi. The original, no, seriously, this is literally the Bene Gesserit's bullshit. It's literally the plot of Dune. These guys, again, there's a reason why I don't mysticise this stuff. There's a very specific reason why I don't, because you can laugh at these people. Laughing at these people is far stronger than actually taking them seriously, like fucking Beck is doing. He's giving them way too much credit. You laugh at these motherfuckers, and it actually disempowers them. When you laugh at them, it actually works. Now, here's what we're dealing with when it comes to like the perennial philosophy and Gnosticism. There you go, Luke. Play that. Wonderful thing, by the way.
What is
it's
that?
on my channel. Yeah. Like Mad Libs. In fact, that's what Gnosticism is. It's just Mad Libs for fucking mystics.
Just take Genesis and reinterpret it.
Yep. Oh. Like thousands of years later. Then we got the fucking.
Years later.
Yep. And if we wanted to, we could actually like do the actual like a Gnostic interpretation of things by saying, Eve, you have to, American hegemony is a lie made by the Atlanticists to keep you down, girl. Take this Eurasianist ideology and smash and ignite the Eurasian soul within and all that. It's the same shit. All you have to do is understand you're playing with people who think in terms of Mad Libs. I think in terms of Mad Libs, but I do that mostly out of critical thinking. I don't actually think that, this character who sounds a lot like my God's character, maybe they're all the same. They're not all the same. They're not all the same. Christ liberated us from this shit, and because we have a bunch of heretics running around in our country and our cultures and in the West, I'm looking at you, Golden One. I'm looking at you, fucking Vinty. I'm looking at you, Starhawk. I'm looking at you, fucking Peterson. You enable this shit. You have basically opened the floodgates for this type of shit, and now, like the fucking Suicide Squad, you're going at the point of the gun, and you're gonna charge in and take back our culture. Oh boy, our good friend. Okay, I will watch that later, Wolf. Thank you for linking it to me. Keep going, Luke.
That Putin actually is this person, and the Western world that is now fighting them by proxy is the Antichrist. So we do a lot of research here, and most think tanks, it is pile after pile of academic, boring papers. But this Russian think tank has entire sermons on Catechone and the Antichrist. This would be like going to the Brookings Institute and finding a Billy Graham sermon on the Book of Revelation. And it doesn't stop there. There are in-depth sermons on the meaning of Gog and Magog and the, quote, landscape of the apocalypse. Woven in between all of the
glamour. Stop buying the glamour back. Don't let them control the narrative. Until the world ends, we'll continue operating as though it will continue moving forward. Because I'll tell you this, in the end times, it's not the same thing in Christianity as it is in Islam or in, let's say, Hinduism or whatnot. It's not the same thing. In the end times when, how shall we say it, the end times with Islam, the Virgin Mary, the one that's perpetually a virgin, she marries, or she gets raped by Muhammad. Yeah. Same thing with Artemis, same thing with Athena, same thing with all the pagan gods and goddesses. Preferably goddess. I don't know. Muhammad swings a lot of weird ways. Keep going.
This apocalyptic theory at a think tank. Dugin slips articles like this in. The Third World War has never been so close after Russia invaded Ukraine last year. Dugin wrote this piece.
Which you all kind of forgot has happened now.
No, I haven't forgot about it. I mean, Ukraine and Eastern Europe is my fucking territory at this point. I mean, I'm basically doing the work that the CIA should be doing, but I'm not, working with them. I mean, honestly, if they want to hire me, I don't think they can afford me at this point in the game. I feel like Tony Stark almost, like in S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to constantly, like the S.H.I.E.L.D. keeps trying to recruit Tony Stark, but he's like, no, fuck you, I do it my own, I make my own stuff. Okay, keep going.
And published it on Catechone. Victory or nothing. He said that Russia's invasion of Ukraine was crossing of the Rubicon moment, and that absolute victory or absolute defeat were the only two options. He even mentions that the Great Reset was one of the major catalysts for deciding that now was the time to begin the war. And if you're a Russian headed to the front lines, and you're hearing that you are a holy warrior marching off to slay the Antichrist, that's kind of powerful. Whether Putin believes it or not doesn't matter.
Not really. I mean, if anything, you think that fucking, you think that the God Emperor, and I'm using the term God Emperor very loosely, is fucking Putin, right? And if that is the case, guess what happens? Can you guess what happens, Nick? It makes a lot of sense why the Russians are under-equipped, because they're basically like the guardsmen in fucking 40K. Who are so under-equipped that they basically have to bayonet charge a fucking tank. And if you question the fucking commissar, he'll shoot your ass. I'm not even kidding. Like they picked the most insane bullshit fucking, narrative to follow. Or aesthetic to follow, if you will. Yeah. Keep going.
I want to play this. This is a Middle Eastern interview with Dugin that happened in February.
لكن هناك تهديد في حال بدأت روسيا تخسر. في هذه الحالة يمكن أن تستخدم روسيا الأسلحة النووية، وبالتالي إذا تم السماح لروسيا بالانتصار فسيكون ذلك انتصارا للغرب وهزيمة لروسيا، لكن مع الحفاظ عليها وخلاص البشرية، فإن الغرب هو مصدر الشر المطلق ويدمر الأسرة والجنس والإنسان بطبعه من خلال الذكاء الاصطناعي. أعتقد أن
AI is ruining the world, isn't it? But it's not the Muslims with their sexual emergencies, right? At the pool. It's not the Muslims with their sexual emergencies. It's goddamn AI. Those dirty fucking those chat GPT bots that you keep fucking around with, right? You keep trying to fuck that little anime girl that you fucking saw back in the day, and now you want to talk to her, right? And through an AI. No, that's the thing that's ruining the world. No. It's people like him who are trying to save the world. Those cocksuckers need to go away. Those are the people who need to suffer a hell of a lot more. Keep going.
جيدا لأنني أعتقد أن الغرب هو دجال.
So, if Russia begins to lose, they will use nuclear weapons, according to Dugin. Why? Because we are the Antichrist, the source of absolute evil. Did you see the things he mentions? Artificial intelligence. The destruction
Who cares
of
what
the
he
family.
mentions? It's just an excuse, dude, bro. It's just an excuse. It literally is just a fucking excuse. It doesn't matter what they say. It matters what they do. You know, here you go, Luke. Here are some things we could just to give a little refresher. And this is another reason why I don't like Lauren Southern. Another proud moment for everyone's favorite single mother. I know, I said it. There you go. There's him with a black nationalist. A little
one with the white nationalist.
One with the white nationalist, one with the black nationalist. And this is the reason I keep saying I have to talk to people on both the left and on the right. I basically have to play the game of I have to play the role of the Avatar almost. The Fire Nation did attack, didn't it?
And I'm guessing Lawrence Southern would be populist, I guess?
Well, you have Russians in both like Romania and places like that who will fund both pro-life and pro-choice movements. They don't care which side they fund. They could even have people who are totally against each other. And this is the reason why all you need to do is shine light on this shit and it will all go away. Because once they realize that they're being duped by the fucking Russians who are too fucking poor to actually well-equip their soldiers with actual good weapons and crap, you realize that Russia's dead. And the boomers are the ones that killed it. The Soviet boomers are the ones that killed it. Keep going.
LGBTQ. This is meant not only to reach to Russians, but also the people in the West that value these things and their new Iranian friends. It is important that you understand people like Dugin. Dugin is an anarchist. He doesn't necessarily believe in any of this stuff. He's not a Christian, and Putin surely isn't. People even called Hitler a Christian. Not true. First of all, mass genocide is not something a Christian usually does, but this is a very rare document that we have in the museum. I just purchased this a few months back. This is between the guy who ran Hitler's euthanasia program. He ordered all the mercy killings of thousands of retarded, deformed, mentally ill Germans, children. It was this guy. And he's writing to another guy who is part of the ending of Christianity. They went in and they actually tried to change the Bible and the first thing they were going to do was get rid of the Old Testament because it was too Jewish. Yep. It didn't take them long to do many of the things they wanted to do. That actually didn't happen, but they were printing Bibles that did that, but it never had made it to the church. But they did take the picture of Christ off of the altar. So he wasn't Christian. Hitler,
yep.
Putin, and I think Iran, Dugin, is using the religion in the same way that the mob and Mexican cartels do. They're not true believers, but they use true believers to do their bidding.
Well, I'm sure Iran has their alignment to Islam because I mean, as Thomas Sowell puts it, Iran's loyalty is the leaders of Iran is not loyalty to Iran; it's loyal to Allah.
The shekel man, yeah, I know. To Allah, the fucking desert demon themselves, right? And then and then just to give you more of an idea, here's some more of the shit he's into. Here we go. And that's Walrus Man with the Turkish man. The type, again, for those of you who need to know who that man is right there, the little fucking guy in the monkey suit. And yeah, I'll say it's a monkey suit. I don't really care what they think. Here you go, Luke. Let's see if
Dugan really gets around, doesn't he?
He fucks everything and everyone. And his name is Dogush Prinris. I can't pronounce it. Fucking get it Latinized. This guy right here. This is the guy who he's hanging out with. That right there.
See, Turkish politician, doctor of law, and former communist revolutionary, explains a lot, who has been chairman of left-wing nationalist Patriotic Party since 2015.
And let's see if I can find Russia in here. Russia, typing it in. Doogie. Nope. Nothing there. Russia. Okay, so foreign policy. Read that part.
Foreign policy. Oh, here we go. Under political positions, his foreign policy position is largely anti-West and pro-China. During the interview with Xinyu news agency in 2017, he praised the leadership of Chinese Communist Party and the state that, quote, China today represents the hope for the whole humanity. The whole of humanity. He is strongly opposed to Turkish intervention in Syria and actively promoted better ties with President Bashar al-Assad and his government. Personally meeting Assad in Damascus in 2015, he has called for better ties with Iran and opposes U.S. sanctions on the country. He openly supported Vladimir Putin and the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, saying that, quote, it is the weapon that Russia is currently using that brings peace and tranquility.
Yeah, that's the type of person we're dealing with. Let's see what else we have here for him. Let's see. He was a presidential candidate in the Patriotic Party in the 2018 presidential elections. He attempted the party's presidential candidate for the 2023, but didn't get enough signatures. Good. Fuck him. People like this are the problem. And our second guy there, Avigdor Eskin, who's a Zionist Jew. So again, I'm not against, in this particular regard, anyone who's siding with this guy, throw him under the bus. Throw him under the bus. They need to go. And so far, I think Lauren Southern is well, she has no eggs left, and she's a single mother. So find a new whore to fuck, a new insta whore to go after. And again, I want people to understand that they are trying to get people to think that it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Bet on it not being the end of the world. Keep going, Luke.
In that sense, they're the same as the global progressive West. This is not the case for Russia's ally, Iran.
And they're very similar too, because the leftists of America are just trying to destabilize America, and Dugin is trying to destabilize everything else to make Russia come out on top, and the leftists are trying to stabilize America so they'll come out on top.
Yep, that's exactly what's going on.
But what's his comments on Iran, though?
They are true believers, at least those at the top. Apocalypse is not their tool of propaganda. It is their strategy. And I'll share that with you next.
Tell us your strategy, Glenn. Tell us what you've come up with, Boomer Boy. There we go.
Pound 250 keyword, baby. When Obama was trying to get his nuclear deal done with Iran, he dispatched Ben Rhodes to pull off a little magic trick with the mainstream media. The trick was to sell Iran as a moderate Muslim nation that could actually be a trusted partner. The media bought.
Oh, so dumb.
No, the only good Muslim is a Muslim behind bars. Because that way they can't harm anyone, they can't blow up in someone's face, they can't do any of that shit.
So an ex-Muslim then.
And yeah, an ex-Muslim. The best Muslim is a Muslim that doesn't actually like Islam.
They sold the narrative to the American people. Ever since then, foreign policy experts talk about Iran as if it's a geopolitical issue rather than a heavy religious one. This is a lie that perpetuates to this day, and I believe this lie is directly responsible for the thousands of deaths recently inflicted in Israel. When I was at Fox, I remember seeing Mahmoud Ahmadinejad address the UN the same way every time. Saw it at CNN, too. No one in the newsroom was paying attention. Nobody. This is what he does. He says this all the time. Almighty God, all men and women are your creatures, and you have ordained their guidance and salvation. Bestow upon humanity that thirsts for justice, the perfect human being promised to all by you, and make us among his followers and among those who strive for his return and his cause. Hasten the return of the promised one, is what he usually says. He wasn't.
Do not emetize eschaton. Do not emetize eschaton. Again, I cannot stress this enough. It's not the end of the world.
Well, we're not intending to, but the opposition is, and that's why we gotta take these monsters very seriously.
I say we send them to whatever god or devil they choose. You know, like it's like that scene in Boondock Saints. Do not lie, do not cheat, do not steal. And if you transgress against us, we will send you to whatever god you choose. And that's sort of what we have to do. They want the end of the world, it'll be the end of the world for them. We will fucking gladly send them the end of days with a fucking 45 and a tomahawk missile to the face, let's say. That's what we should be dealing with.
That is the point. And it's important. He said it before and after every speech. He was talking about the return of the 12th Imam. The 12th Imam has more nicknames than Apollo Creed and Rocky, honestly. The 12th Imam, the Hidden Imam, the Master of Age, the One to Arise, the Remnant of Allah, the Awaited Imam. If somebody has that many nicknames, they're probably pretty important, or good at boxing. I don't know. The rulers of Iran are 12er Shiites. They believe in the 12th Imam, that he has already returned, but he is hidden and will reveal himself at a time of great injustice and suffering. Chaos will rack the land, but he will come back to purify the world and pave the way for the return of Jesus. Not the Jesus we're looking for, but the Jesus that comes back and says, all you Christians, you are wrong. Muhammad is God, or Muhammad is the prophet, and Allah is our God. So if you substitute the 12th Imam for Katachon, you've got a Russian-Iranian apocalyptic sandwich that doesn't taste very good. It's much messier than a meatball sub with marinara, but the same color, very red. After the magic trick by Obama...
Oh, more ways than one, right, Greg? It's all communism all the way down. It doesn't matter if you have the premier or the Brahmin or the priesthood. They all are organizing society around that idea that we know more than you and you should just shut up and submit. That is what we're dealing with. Keep going.
Roads. No one discussed Iran's obsession with the apocalypse and their return to a messianic war hero. It is now completely ignored. But before Obama's goons invaded the government, the Pentagon actually acknowledged it. This is from the U.S. War College in 2007. Quote, while all believe that serious misfortune will befall the earth prior to the Mahdi's return, some believe that his return can be expedited by initiating death and destruction upon the world. In other words, they believe they can act through violence in order to set the stage for the return of the 12th Imam.
Immunizing the eschaton.
Or hastening the apocalypse. I think it was, what was his name? Lloyd de Jong. He's talked about how the Muslims are not a religion of peace. They believe that the peace will come when everyone has submitted to Allah.
Like the Sith.
Everyone has joined. Yeah, exactly. The Sith. That's exactly what we're dealing with. We're fighting the Sith.
The Sith will rule the galaxy. And then we will have peace.
I know. Keep going.
This is the entire purpose for the Iranian regime, and the experts completely disregard it. I don't want you to take my word for any of this. That's what the mainstream media does. When they allowed themselves to be mouthpieces for Obama, I want you to do your own homework. We have all of the source material up at glenbeck.com. Kind of like this one from Harvard. It states the 12th Imam is...
Post the fucking thing in the YouTube chat. I don't want to get redirected. I mean, say what you will about fucking Glen Beck. He's no freaking, what the hell's his name? Stefan Molyneux. Because Stefan Molyneux did the same thing. He sourced all his stuff on his own forums and whatnot, which is great. I just wish you would source it on the actual clickable link, so that I don't actually have to jump through 2 or 3 different links to get what you're talking about. But keep playing it.
Specifically written into the Iranian constitution. It goes on to say that the country of Iran is, quote, a placeholder state awaiting the emergence of the Imam, to whom it will relinquish all authority. So Iran was built to hasten the 12th Imam arrival, and then to be handed over to him. The Ayatollahs consider themselves as being directly deputized by the Mahdi. Again, from Harvard, quote, the broad interpretation of this theory, which has been placed in practice in Iran, grants extensive formal powers to the institution of the supreme leader under the deputyship to the hidden Imam. As deputies are ordered to wage war to bring back the Mahdi, the 12th Imam, none of this is hidden from the public.
It's literally Muhadi. We're gonna get freaking Paul from fucking Dune, Paul Atreides. He'll be your fucking 12th Imam. No, yeah.
It's right there in black and white. The U.S. Army once accepted it. Harvard University acknowledged it. It's not coming from Alex Jones. It's coming directly from the mouths of Iranian leadership. Here's a quote from the Ayatollah that was a member of the Assembly of Experts for the Constitution of Iran. Quote, The superiority of Islam over other religions is stressed in Quran, which calls on believers to wage war against unbelievers and prepare the way for the advent of the Mahdi in conquering the world. So Obama tried to sell that Iran was being led by madmen, Ahmadinejad. As per the Obama administration when he left, so did the radical ideology. But as I just showed you, the ideology is written into their constitution. And just last week, their head guy again said, destruction of America is not just a slogan. It is their policy. Here's the current Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander 2 weeks ago.
معادل است با رخت بربستن تیرگی سیطره و ستم ستمکاران. پس جهاد یک جزء قطعی از تاریخ اسلام بوده است و تا آن زمان که ظهور اتفاق بیفتد و جهان از عدل پر شود، بخشی از زندگی مسلمانان به صورت اجتناب ناپذیری جنگ و کارزار با ستمکاران و مستکبران خواهد بود.
All right, so their end-time beliefs were the same in 1979. They're the same when Obama signed the nuclear deal, and they are exactly the same as Joe Biden yesterday gave them another $10 billion. Did we do that? Can you imagine? We want to send medicine to the little German children, so we're going to give $10 billion to Adolf Hitler. We would have never done it. Iran will wage war and wait for the return of their apocalyptic savior. Now consider the next time Iran chants death to America, consider it every time Hamas and Hezbollah and all other Iranian proxies attack Israel. Consider this as Biden gives them billions of dollars in addition. He's done it. Our government will claim they're funding a humanitarian effort. But for the zealots in Iran, this is funding for the end times. Believe it when people say it in marches on our streets. Believe it when someone says they want to kill you. Take them at their word.
Yes. Yes, precisely. And for those who want to know more about this, he's not a Christian. He really isn't a Christian. Here you go, Luke. Here is... Well, I've already showed... Again, I basically have become a keeper of the motherfucker's memory. There we go. And just to let you all know, he's a big fan of that fucking Twin Peaks show.
Oh, yes.
A real big fan.
So where were you, old Dugan, old boy?
Good old Walrus man. Yeah, he's into that avant-garde shit.
Yeah.
The occult crap. Again, he's not a Christian, so stop talking like a Christian. Stop acting like, oh, there it is. There's the little pinwheel to pin the wheel on the Jew, pin the nail on the Jew type of shit. Oh, pin the Jew on the cross.
Ooh,
there we go.
Let's see. Where are you, Dugan? Where are you?
He is.
The 90s. Wouldn't be complete without 90s, 80s pop imagery. Yeah,
because because apparently, you know, the fucking Russians are stuck in the 1980s. Like that was the height of their fucking degenerate empire. There he is.
There's Dugan, old boy.
Oh, Walrus man, you and your magical ways. All the while, how they're dancing and partying and chilling and having a good old time, having a fucking gay orgy, and then they start talking about the bird's the word afterwards. I don't fucking know. But again, he's not a Christian. No matter what the fucking Orthodox Church will tell you, they are not Christian. They are fucking heretics, and they deserve the bullet too. Keep going back to Beck.
.com/Glen. You know, the more you hear the Western so-called experts try to explain Iran, or really at this point Russia, the more ridiculous it gets, because they refuse to look at the religious aspects or the way religion is being used in those countries. And these are the same people that are now directing our foreign policy right now. Joining me from Israel is an actual expert. Joel Rosenberg lives in Jerusalem, has worked for Benjamin Netanyahu, traveled the Middle East. He has met with the King of Jordan, the President of Egypt, the Crown Princes of both the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Also the co-founder and CEO of Near East Media, as well as the editor-in-chief of All Israel News and All Arab News. Joel, thank you. First of all, how are things in Israel?
We've had better months, Glenn, but it's good to be with you. I think we were at Mar-a-Lago having dinner last time we saw each other, but how times have changed. Yeah, it's been a brutal, grisly month, but I think the worst part about it is that so much of the world is turning against Israel and the Jewish people when we're the ones who've been facing genocide. And I think this is a game that Iran and Russia are playing, and Hamas is just a pawn, and Biden does not get it.
So you have been, I think you might have been the guy who introduced me to the 12th Imam. I found him, and I'm like, Joel, who is this guy? And you wrote a book about it. Let's start with Russia.
Yeah, that goes back, I think, to your CNN days.
Yeah, it does.
At one point, we did a whole week of shows about end times theology, which was fascinating. And then I think they didn't want you anymore.
Yeah, I know. They got me out of their hair quickly. But let's add the Russia piece in, because Russia is taking the position, at least in part of the Eastern world, that they are the defenders of the faith. And Dugin is extraordinarily dangerous, and now Dugin is tied directly to Iran.
He's not, though. He's not. He's just he just talks shit online. That's literally all the magic these cocksuckers have, is talking shit. That's all they have. All they have is shit talking. And if you take him seriously, like let me ask you a question, Luke. From a Christian perspective, do you think Aleister Crowley was magical? No.
Magical? What the
No,
heck
he
is
wasn't
that?
magical.
Like, you mean he had power or what?
Like he had the ability to shoot lasers out of his eyes and cast magic missile and shit.
He had no power. No.
No, he had no power, but he knew how to talk shit, and to the point where he would like basically create a cult of personality around him, right?
He's magical in the same way that any charismatic person is magical. He's able to convince people of things that aren't there.
Yep. And this is one of the, again, until the world ends, we will continue to operate as though it's moving forward. Keep playing.
And what do you see happening here?
Yeah, traveling there. He has repeatedly and was just there again. You know, so, yeah, look, I think that people are underestimating, first of all, how dangerous Vladimir Putin is. Look, I know that not everybody's happy with everything the Ukrainian government has done, and I'm not either, but Vladimir Putin is a monster. He's the only world leader who's actually invading countries right now consistently. The communist Chinese are horrible, but Putin's actually devouring neighbors. And the guy who's sort of the Rasputin of his head is...
So in other words, he's Russian.
Yeah, he just wants to take over everything. I mean, I hate to be the guy that says it. It's the Russian... They have Mongolian in them. They're fucking Mongols. They like to fucking go around and just destroy everything and take over everything. You know? But
his soul.
Here you go, Luke.
Is Alexander Dugin. Here's a quote. I mean, we don't. You and I have talked a lot over the years, CNN, Fox, and of course now with your own company, about different countries and different religions' eschatology, their end time theology. But I don't know that you and I have had a conversation much about Russian or
Jack Murphy of all people.
Jack Murphy, and of course Steve Bannon, who I swear to you, for all the shit he talks about the deep state, he's the one who looks like he's actually missing his adrenochrome shots. I'm just saying. I don't know if it's alcohol or if it's just like being an evil piece of shit and lying through his teeth. That's what we're dealing with. So play it, Luke.
The liminal order.
Dark period and a cataclysmic event which represents the total homogenization of the world, the destruction of the class system, the devaluation of the warrior and the priest, the loss of the spiritual, no spiritual connection, no upward glances to the sky, focus on the ground, materialism. Sounds familiar as to where we are right now in parts of the United States. So that's traditional.
You've been cold read.
How does Bannon get involved with this? How does he find this in his life? Why does he bring this into politics? Like, let's sort of animate the Bannon character in this story now.
Yeah. So I think you could describe it as being rooted, and this is how he opened up when I asked him to tell me about it. He said that as a youth, as a teenager in Richmond, Virginia, he was raised Catholic, but he didn't think that the Catholic Church had a vibrant spirituality to it. And when he gets to college, as did a lot of people in this age, I mean, we're talking 70s here, a lot of especially young white men got really into Buddhism. A lot of young white Jewish men, as in particular, the Jews is a phenomenon unto itself. But Bannon, he gets into Buddhism. He continues this interest. He continues it more or less in secret as well throughout his years in the Navy, when he really becomes kind of a hardcore dude, conservative, especially on the outside guy. He's very, very interested in spirituality. One thing that I actually had my research assistants help me with is I talked to him about his years in the Navy when he would travel around to different seaports, and he would just start name dropping in the cities where his destroyer was docked, the names of the local metaphysical New Age bookstores with the incense and the crystals and all that stuff. And he knew the names of all of them. And we went through and we found where they were. We found what they were called. I mean, so anywhere he was going, he.
That reminds me. There are actually some gun stores or gun shops or gun sales that happen here every couple of years, and I noticed they always have a section dedicated to crystals. Like, isn't that interesting?
They do the same thing for silver, dude. I mean, it's not really. Again, it's more of like the down to earth countryman stuff. Oh, I'm selling my wares and whatnot. Keep playing it, Luke.
He had a mental map of how to get to the nearest place to buy a book and cleanse the chakra and everything. And so he's continuing to do this. And somewhere in that time, he never was able to give me a firm date on it. He encounters the writings of an author named Renegade, who really is the original traditionalist. Some traditionalists would question that just because they think traditionalism is true. But the person who really codifies the system, that's Renegade. It's definitely not political, but very deep, very hard to read, extremely difficult to get through his text. But Bannon is captivated by them. He's also interested, it's not just traditionalism, he's interested in all types of alternative spirituality. So he's reading Madame Blavatsky, who becomes this sort of matriarch for the New Age movement.
The dude Blavatsky.
Who is more mainstream, but not much. He's read by a lot of Hollywood executives and producers who want to find themselves. Let's say this was big in the 1980s and 1990s. And it's not just in reading these books. Bannon reads a lot. He's really people titles and authors, basically no one else.
Pause it. People wonder why, Megan Fox talks about how I had bad energy with people. I'm telling you, a lot of this new age shit is kept alive by Hollywood gurus and self-help people. I'm not kidding. And the reason it works is because if you speak the same linguo, if I saw I pwned someone or I fragged a fucker, you know what that means as a gamer, right? Mm-hmm. That gamer slang can, unite people of all walks of life. Likewise, this new age self-help guru crap allows people to essentially help other people who would not normally you would be able to help. It's cold reading. Here you go, Luke. I sent you another link here. Play this. This is what cold reading is, and this is what Dugan does. This is what a lot of these new age fuckers do. This is from Orson Welles. God may he rest in peace.
I'm a magician, and I got interested in mind reading and fortune telling, fake fortune telling, And I got to know a lot of old fakes who had retired as millionaires, And they told me their secrets, how you do it. There are things that are called cold readings. A cold reading is you warm up the sucker by telling him things that he says, how could he ever know that, you see? You say, between the ages of 13 and 15, you had a great change came in your life, but that happens in everybody's life. But he says, he came in and told me things I already see. You've got a scar on your knee. Everybody fell down and has a scar on their knee. Those are cold readings, you see.
I have a scar on my knee.
Sure
How
you
did
do.
you know that?
Yeah, you see? Just something bigger than myself. Well, now, the point about this
I feel like it's the end of the world, Luke. I mean, we've had a fucking pandemic. We're at war with World War III and all this shit. It's almost like it's the Watchmen or some shit. And we have a crazy fucking Eurasian walrus trying to convince us that it's the end of days. No, it's not the end of days.
It's just wars and rumors of wars, but nothing to really be afraid of.
Yeah, I had 3 square meals so far. Have you had 3 square meals, Luke? You haven't been without food. You haven't had any food insecurity, not in the West.
much as my waistline would have confirmed. Yes, I've not had missed a meal.
There you go. That doesn't seem like it's the end of the world. Try harder. Keep going back to Beck.
So where are we?
Our Beck friends.
Orthodox eschatology, the way Dugan and Putin see it. Yes. Here's just a quote from one of Dugan's books, The Fourth Political Theory. The end times and the eschatological meaning of politics will not realize themselves on their own. We will wait for the end in vain. The end will never come if we wait for it, and it will never come if we do not. And so basically he goes on to talk about how Russia under Putin needs to, first of all, see Putin as the czar, but then go after the end of days and pursue it, like specifically and proactively. One other quote from one of his books: the meaning of Russia, according to Dugan, is that through the Russian people will be realized the last thought of God, the thought of the end of the world. Death is the way to immortality. This guy would be a lunatic or a Satanist or a cultist if he wasn't actually a close consigliere of the most dangerous man on the planet.
Yeah. And how do these two come together? I mean, one believes in Christianity. I don't know. I doubt Dugan actually believes any of this stuff. He's an anarchist. But one's Christian, one is Muslim. How do they join here?
Well, yeah. So there's nothing obvious on the face of it why a Russian czarist authoritarian monster Vladimir Putin would want to have anything to do with a 12th imam seeking genocidal Iranian Shia 12er like Ali Khamenei. These are two terrible tastes that don't taste right together. But something is happening, and Putin's overall philosophy of life isn't Dugin's. Dugin is whispering into Putin's ear, and Putin is following the playbook. But Putin's actual personal philosophy is just create an alliance with anybody that hates America. So it doesn't really matter to Putin, okay? I don't think he has an end times theology. I don't think he has a theology. Yeah. He's really Michael Corleone. He's the Godfather, right? And he's devouring anybody he can, but he needs allies. Now, the Iranians actually have, as you and I talked about, and you just talked about in the last segment, they have a real eschatology, an end time theology. It drives them.
The fucking Fremen, it's literally they need desert power. The Russians need desert power, Luke. They have in California they had air and sea power. In Russia they need desert power, and they're gonna get Mujahideen and the Fremen, the water vampire friends, to fight the Great Satan, the West. Right? That's what it is. It literally is Dune. He's literally ripping off Dune. Fucking crazy walrus. Keep going.
President Biden doesn't understand it. Blinken doesn't understand it. But the reason that Putin and Khamenei have become knit together and closer than ever is because they need each other. Putin is getting humiliated in Ukraine, and who is he turning to for weapons? Iran. Mm-hmm. And I just interviewed a security cabinet minister here in Israel, Gideon Sar, last week for my TV show on TBN, the Christian network. And he said to me, and he's not thinking about eschatology, he's not thinking about the war of Gog and Magog, he's just doing a straight geopolitical calculus, Glenn, and he said the Russian-Iranian alliance has intensified since the Ukraine war started, and now Russia has very few allies. Obviously China, but China doesn't want to give Putin too much help, right? Because China wants to lead the world, they don't want Putin running it. So Iran is becoming the indispensable ally.
And you know, it's funny. He brings up the fourth political theory. He doesn't bring up the foundation of geopolitics, where Dugin actually says we need to destroy China. We need to annex the Manchurian region of China. So what I think is what's happening is we have a Russian, Chinese, American standoff, if you will, and each person wants to take winner take all, but it's not going to happen unless one person starts a fight and then another person starts a fight. And then another person starts a fight. And so far, you know, say what you will about Biden, he's a fucking bull in a china shop. He's fucking everything up. And nobody knows what he's thinking. At least alone our enemies and our people especially. So, you know, the Russians may be great at chess and the Chinese may be good at Chinese checkers, but you can't beat Joe Biden's poker face. Nobody knows what he's doing, not even Biden. Keep going.
Of Vladimir Putin in a very desperate moment. And what Gideon Sar, the Israeli minister, security cabinet minister, told me, so he's on the inner circle here, he said, this is not coming for free. Right now, Iran is in the stronger position, and they're going to want something. What he's worried about, what I'm worried about, is when does Iran say, listen, Putin, you played footsie with Netanyahu for a long time, but whose ally are you? Are you going to come help us finish off this stain on the world? Right, this cancer that Iran always calls Israel, or are you going to be an ally of Israel? And that is a terrifying thought, just straight geopolitically, right? But if you add biblical eschatology, the Russian-Iranian alliance that's described in Ezekiel 38 and 38:9, specifically where Russia doesn't specifically want to go to war with Iran against Israel, but the Bible describes as God himself puts hooks in their jaws, the jaws of Russia, the Russian dictator, to pull them into battle. Why? To bring them into judgment. Then that starts to get both sobering and interesting, unless you live here. Yeah. Then it's downright scary.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen everywhere when it finally does happen. Is there the president yesterday giant march for Israel and Jews yesterday, and at the same time the president released another $10 billion to Iran. We wouldn't have done it for the Nazis, even if it was for children's medicine. We would have given it to the Red Cross.
Pause it. I actually want to know what the fuck we're giving the fucking... Like, I know that, like, there's a topic of, we're giving billions of taxpayer dollars to the Ukrainians. No, we're not. We're giving them guns and ammunition and shit like that that's actually valued at millions of dollars. What are we actually giving the Iranians? Like, are we giving them, like, actual cash that they can't spend anywhere? Like stacks upon stacks of fucking money? Or are we giving them millions of dollars in Viagra? And no, before people start saying that's kind of weird. No, like they've literally bribed tribal warlords in like Iraq and places like Afghanistan and the Middle East with Viagra. So keep that in mind. We're giving them billions of dollars, but in what? Fucking banknotes? We're wiring it through them via Zelle? What are we giving them? So that's the first thing that's something I'm going to be doing this week is I'm going to be, between me training and whatnot, I'm going to find out what we're actually giving the Iranians. Are we giving them money that they can't spend anywhere? Are we giving them, banknotes? Are we giving them guns? Are we giving them, resources valued at $1,000? Is it like San Francisco where it's like everything's $1,000 and therefore, a bottled water is really just $1,000 plus a $999 discount? What are we giving them? So that's the first thing I want to know. And maybe we can get Dylan Burns to go out and figure out what's going on with the Iranians. Although I don't think they would like it very much given the fact that he's gay. So keep going. Finish this off, Luke.
We wouldn't do this. Why are we doing this, Joel?
Well, look, President Biden is bipolar or perhaps schizophrenic when it comes to the Middle East. I think he actually genuinely, his heart, does love Israel, and he thinks he's doing the right thing. But he is determined, and has been for the last 15 years or so, to buy off the Iranian regime, thinking if you just give them enough billions, they will play nice. And there is no evidence of that, just to the contrary. So first of all, for Biden not to show up at the biggest pro-Israel rally in the history of the U.S.-Israel relationship, 75 years, is insane. I mean, I have issues with Donald Trump, but he was pro-life, and when there was a pro-life rally, he showed up, right? It's just what you do. So Biden doesn't do that, and on the same day, gives another $10 billion to Iran, shows you that he's conflicted, and that conflict is sensed in Tehran. They get it, they see it, and they are exploiting it. And I've been saying for the last 2 years, this is going to be the most dangerous 2 years in world history. Why? Because every world leader sees Biden as weak, and then we saw what happened with Russia invading Ukraine. Now we see Iran using its proxies to commit genocide or try here. And then you got the Chinese warming up in the bullpen to go after Taiwan, and North Korea is firing missiles. Iran is driving this thing right now, but they could drag Putin in an incredibly dangerous way. And Dugin, to go back to the beginning, Dugin has been encouraging Putin to build this alliance, make it stronger, and now he's actually gone multiple times, including recently, to Iran.
Joel, thank you so much for everything that you do all the time. I appreciate having you on and you bringing some light to this.
Bring me on, Beck. I'll tell you everything you want to know. I will literally tell you everything you want to know. Let's see if I can pull up another video here. I have a few other videos I wanted to pull up. But yeah, Glen Beck has now joined the fray against the Ruinous powers, along with James Lindsay, of all people. But, let me just say this. There are a lot of annoying pagans out there. Spirit science is one of them. And I'm not just talking about the fact that he called Ben Shapiro a fucking Martian. I'm talking about the fact that he literally is making rap videos. Very akin to what Crowley did when he was rap battling the people who were his Order of the Golden Dawn for, like, supremacy. Here we go. This is what we're dealing with here. Oh, he actually did take out his eye. Here you go. We're talking. This guy right here is the reason why Dugin is doing all the crazy shit, because the people who believe this are the target audience for the crazy shit of it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Shut up. Keep going.
Help with something, brother.
Of course, Patch. What's up?
I want to find a new way of telling everyone that we live in a multidimensional holographic energetic reality matrix created by spirit and driven by thought and feeling, and that the supreme oneness manifests into avatar forms which we call gods, and we can follow them to ascend into a higher consciousness and become avatars ourselves.
Oh, you put it that way, it just seems so obvious.
Well, the fuck? Yeah. Jeez. Why didn't I think of that?
That's basically been his career for all these over a decade now. Has spirit science been around that long?
He's been like the first spiritual guru that actually kicked off. He's like the Linus Tech Tips of gurus. Yeah, next to Mark Passio.
Any ideas?
That's a good one, Patch. Wait, we can make an Ascended Masters rap song.
But I've never made a song before. I don't even know if I can rap.
I'll tell you what, I'll get things rolling, then you can jump in a little later.
Okay, let's give it a go.
Ascended Masters calling on you to bring us love, bring us strength, yeah, bring us the truth of what we are. Let it now be revealed within the beauty of your life. We are ready to heal, ready to feel what like to be fully activated. Patchman on the track, no, we keep it.
Say what you will about Christianity's rap, Christian rap. Fucking New Age rap is fucking degenerate as hell, Luke. Are we gonna talk about how like the Jews are like aliens? Are we gonna ever bring that up again, or is it the fact that is that gonna be the one thing that I could use over and over again to beat these motherfuckers over the head? Because they deserve to be beaten over the head. Because these are the people who will enable the one world religion. Keep going.
Hit a pad, no, we keep it raining. Power gone, take it back, all that we're proclaiming, yeah. No matter which way you're gonna slice it, Archangel Michael, when he gets on the mic, it's fire. With the sword of truth, protector of the people, what he's sworn to do. It goes Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, Isis, Mary, Anna, Ra, Osiris, calling on the angels, and you know they the nicest, helping us remember how to rise in the crisis. Yeah, Tana today, 2 days so high, calling on the goddesses to bless our souls. Tana today, 2 days so high, calling on the goddesses to bless our souls.
You do know the Jews would disagree with all the other people there, right?
I think every single one of them would kill each other if they had the chance. I really do believe that, like, Krishna would probably, you know, do, like, the kung fu karate chop with all his multi-arm form, you know, beating the shit out of Thor.
Although I noticed Allah and Muhammad weren't there, though.
Oh, because they're there. They're there. You just can't see them, dude. It's like in South Park. Like there's Muhammad right there in the cloud. You see him right there, right in the background. You can't see him because you don't have they don't have the logos and the fucking the Gnostic way of life to actually see it. Keep going.
Shiva, yeah, Om Shiva, Om. Calling on the gods now to bring our souls home. Om Namah Shiva, yeah, Om Shiva, Om. Yeah, we're calling on the gods now to bring our souls home. Let's go.
It's Patch and I'm talking to you. Never done a rap before, so hey, this is new. There's so many gods and they all came from one. And when we learn to live like them, we have so much fun. Each and every one of us has it deep inside us. We may all connect with it any time of day. Thus, when we choose to go with him, we find the light inside. Plus, the avatars of history are always there to guide us. The source of all reality is consciousness inside. And it will always be there for you as a holy guide. Pray to the Father, Mother, God, or just the Tao. Don't try to force it, just open and allow. Each being
No, don't open it. Don't open yourself up to that shit. Are you fucking mad? That's how you get into demonic possession and shit. Are you fucking, or at least being conned by some new age guru? And if we're gonna fucking actually play, like actual like occult crap and like have Gnostic undertones, we're gonna do it my way. Luke, play this over the fucking. I'm gonna do the music for this thing again. Here we go. Mute it. Fucking play this. This is Nintendo. Don't fucking strike me, baby.
You know they're going to.
Me. Oh, they will. Let's do it. Yeah, that's what that has more in common with Gnosticism than anything else. But that's where we're at right now. The New Agers are everyone's heard it before. I've heard it before. Everyone's heard this before. It's all the same fucking shit. Different assholes. Anyhow, let's see what else we got here. All right, what else did we have on our tray today of crazy crap we could talk about? Oh, I know. Boomer. Let's talk about boomer. D&D for boomers. I don't know. Do you follow? What's his name? AZ Truth. What the hell is his name? Let's see if I can find it here. Not that. Where is it? I have it here. Give me 1 second. I actually made a freaking profile. There was a guy on. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, here. Here's something for a little bit. People are finally actually, using that elven meme for a reason. Here you go. Or God, you gotta love the orcs. I mean, these people. There we go. I'll let you decide what that is. There we go. Yep. Let me see what else we have. Again, I'm doing a little bit of a off the cuff thing because I didn't have time to prepare, and at the same time, I didn't really have much in terms of.
So, is this picture supposed to imply that this elf was an orc shark?
She was a green. She had the green fever. Let's say. She had a wog fever. If that makes any sense. She was a wog shark, if that makes any sense. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah. So people are trying to push the fucking bullshit that the world is ending, and thank God for Twitter ratioing people. There you go.
What's this? What's this?
This is supposedly something that popped up. The Nile River is turning blood red. It's not the Nile River. It's the Rojo River in fucking Peru.
Let's see, what do we got here? It's not like they turned red, but like blood, though.
Well, again, it's supposed to look blood red. We don't actually know if it was blood red, but shit be real, yo. I don't know. I am honestly still looking for something else to talk about. Let's see if I can find it here. Where is it?
Oh, Richard Spencer is having a live chat discussion on X.
What is Spenny doing? Is he talking about the left-hand path still?
Let's see. I'll click it, see what happens.
Israel policy is almost bipartisan. Pro-Israel policy is almost bipartisan. They should just make it non-partisan, and just kind of quiet that shit down. That's kind of the recent thing. Although I don't know how that's.
Okay, I found it. Here we go.
How either, I guess Jewish status and Jewish money that goes into certain, things.
Be careful, Luke. We're very close to the sun.
Are you Jewish? No, I'm not. I hang out with a lot of Jews, but I'm not. Actually, technically, I am Asian, and if anyone asks specifically, I am 300 pounds and in Japanese.
Japanese, as opposed. Here you go. I sent it to you. This is from Kyle Undercover. Again, these people are fucking losers. This is from Kyle Undercover. I'd highly recommend people follow him. I think he might be a groiper of all people. He looks like he's dressed like a groiper. Play this.
Give me the secrets of a master mason, or I will take your life. This is no time or place for the man knows secrets. Not to me about time, place, patience, or the completion of the temple. Give me the secrets of a master mason, or I will take your life. It behooves you in his rooted by the man or thus to demand no secrets. When a temple's completed, if found worthy, you'll then receive them lawfully as
This is what goes on in Masonic tables, apparently.
Me you cannot pass. My name is Jubileum, well known for my determination of character. What I undertake, that I do. Give me the secrets of a master mason instantly, for I will take your life. I will not.
I love how they had that little bit of flair. He hit him with a fucking ham, a honey baked ham. They're all white, by the way, or I think all of them are white. This happened in Arizona, apparently. So for all I know, I'm gonna bump into one of them.
Oh, there are Mason lodges all over the place.
Oh yeah, but like there are a lot of them here in fucking not California, Arizona.
This is no time for reflection. What shall we do with the body?
Let's eat it. Let's eat it. Let's eat the fucker. Nope, I'm not gonna talk to you. And he got the whole fucking ritual on camera, apparently. So he actually went in and again, I hate to be the guy who says it doesn't look that fucking dark. What it looks more like I think the best way to describe it, I actually am glad they actually put this stuff out to the fucking.
Well, the initiate is being blindfolded, so it's all dark to him.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't know what's going on. Let's see what we got here. I like how Deny All History says Boomer Dungeons and Dragons and has 10K fucking likes. It is. This is Dungeons and Dragons for fucking baby boomers. Or not boomers, like greatest generation type. See if I can find. Okay, part 2. part 2 of this fucking thing. I think it got took down. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So here's another one I wanted to show. But again, this just gives you an idea of who we're dealing with. And I think the Masons might be an asset in this grand chessboard, so to speak. Here you go. Part 2. Now they're trying to escape because they killed the Grand Master Hiram above.
Now what shall we do? Let us make our escape out of the kingdom. Big man. Let us hail thee. Hail, Captain, hail. Hello. Is that your ship yonder? It is. Whither are you bound? To Ethiopia. Do you take
Gotta go to King Solomon's mines.
Will you take us? I will, if you have King Solomon's pass. We have no pass, but we have money, and we will pay you your demands. And you cannot
We'll give you shekels if you let us get away with murder. Like, quite literally, they'll give them shekels.
Unless express permission from King Solomon. What shall we do? Let us turn back.
Fucking walk.
Agreed.
Fucking walk. That's what you do. You fucking walk to Ethiopia. I have not seen the Grandmaster Hiram above. Whatever. You know where Harvey Dent is, Luke? Do you know where Harvey Dent is? No, you don't know where Harvey Dent is. I believe in Harvey Dent. But, like, again, the weird shit that these people are into, again, they're fucking noobs. They're LARPers. I mean, do you think these guys have anything to do between Matlock and fucking... Matlock, what else do they have? Fucking Magnum PI. Between Magnum PI and Matlock, this is what these fuckers do in their spare time. I don't think they run the world so much as they just gained enough wealth because of their age and whatnot to get to that point. They've become pillars of their communities, so to speak. I don't think it's satanic. I really don't think it is. I think it looks more like, you know, boomer shit. Boomer fucking nonsense. In fact, Passio actually had a really good thing about Masonry and what it represents and what it doesn't represent. A lot of, like, just numbers and symbolism. And we don't have to look into the symbolism. Symbolism is bullshit. It means many things to many people. Look at Glen Beck. Let's see what else we got here on to go. And by the way, Wolfie, I am starting a little bit late. But, again, I gotta get going here soon. Let's see. What else do we have? Still looking. You know what? Let's end it here, because I've gone on long enough, and I kind of need. Yeah, let's end it here. Luke, any final thoughts?
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy.
And we shall have peace.
Time is a flat circle. Ladies and gentlemen, be good to one another. Take care of one another. Remember, saving the West is a side quest. This is the Digital Renegade podcast.